Hello and welcome to this short training video on KWIZ Forms. In this video, we'll do an overview of the field grouping setting page. To access the field grouping settings page, you simply navigate to the list on which you wish to customize the forms. In our case, this list is called Help Desk. And from the SharePoint ribbon in the List category, we have an icon for KWIZ Forms settings. Click on the drop-down, and the field grouping is the fourth option. This page allows you to configure the form layout without having to dive into more technical design editor and deal with controls, drawing tables, alignments, or other things. KWIZ Forms allows us to create multi-tab forms as well as to add multi-column rows, meaning that we can show multiple fields on the same row in order to make the form shorter. We can also target specific tabs to only some users or groups in order to only show them pertinent information, as well as we are able to configure the weight of certain fields. If, for example, we want a field to take a full 2 columns, while the others only take 1. In this video, we will do a high-level overview of the sections that we find on this page, and in the next videos, we'll create different levels of field groupings so you know how to create them yourself. The first section on this page is the form custom layout setting. In this section, we first specify where we want the field caption location or the field name to appear in the form. By default, field captions in SharePoint list appear left to their fields. Using this property, you can change that and have the field caption appear above the field. Afterwards, we can change the default numbers of fields in a row. If we want to create a multi-column form with 2 fields per row, we could choose 2 over here. This setting can also be set or modified only for a specific group. We can also apply custom CSS if we want to change the style of our forms. We'll cover custom CSS in a future video. Afterwards, we have the field grouping section. This is the section where we can create containers for our fields or our groups. To create a new group, we simply enter the name in the checkbox, for example, ticket information, and we click the Add Group button. We can then select if we want to show the groups as tabs or as an accordion. We also have a first checkbox called Hide Group if all the fields are invisible to a user. Check this checkbox to hide a group from a user that has no permission to see any of the fields that are included in that group. Leaving this checkbox unchecked will display an empty group with no fields to a user that doesn't have any permissions to see the included fields. The second checkbox asks us if we want to add an all fields group. Check this checkbox to display an additional field group showed as a tab that includes all the fields in the list. In our third section, we have the settings for a certain group. We can change its title. We can also select the usernames or SharePoint groups that can view this group, and if we leave that field empty, means that everyone will be able to see it. We can also specify a different number of fields in a row if we want to set it different from the default that we set earlier. For example, let's set it to 4. In the last section called Group Fields is where we assign fields to the group that we just created. Simply select fields from the Available Fields section and click the arrow to make them available in that group. Let me add a few of them. As you move them, you'll see a 5th section appear to the right or under, depending on the screen size, the 4th section. In our form preview, we can either set a fixed width in pixels or we can set a specific column span. For example, I can say the assign to should actually take 2 columns instead of 1. You'll see that the preview updates itself automatically and I can see how my form will look. In the next videos, we'll learn more in depth how to further customize our form with the field grouping and see some live examples, but that is it for this small overview. Thank you for watching this video on the overview of field grouping setting page on KWIZ Forms.